Today we're going to take a look at building a website using Drupal and Web Matrix, and we're going to do it in less than 20 minutes. So with Web Matrix you can start by building an application from the web gallery, and the Acquia Drupal version is available within the web gallery. So I'm just going to select that and I'll say my Drupal site as the name. If I click next, then Web Matrix will take a look at my dependencies and the dependencies that I need, and it'll tell me I need MySQL, and MySQL isn't yet installed on my machine. So I'm going to go ahead and install MySQL, and I need to give it a root password. Very, very important to remember your root password. So I've typed a password there, and I remember that. I'll need that later. I'll continue, and then Web Matrix says it's going to download Drupal, and it tells me the things that I need, MySQL, PHP, and the like. I'm going to accept that, and I'm going to go ahead and install Web Matrix. Right now we can see it's downloading what it needs to download: the MySQL connector, the Acquia Drupal itself, MySQL if I'm going to be using that. It might take a few minutes to do this. So once it's downloaded and installed MySQL, it's now going to ask me to set up a new database in MySQL. The database, the Drupal database itself is going to have a Drupal user that logs in, and the default for this is Drupal user. So I'm just going to give that user a password. And then remember earlier I said we need to remember your root database because it needs root access to be able to create that database. So now I'm going to go ahead and create the Drupal database. Again, this is just going to take a few moments to install. So once it's finished installing, you should see a screen like this one where it's downloaded and it's installed Drupal, and it's installed all the dependencies that I needed. Your list of dependencies may differ. I'll press OK to this, and the Web Matrix workbench itself will actually launch. So the first thing I'm going to do is just press Run to run my site and see Web Matrix itself executing within the browser, executing Drupal within the browser. So here we go. The distribution that I was using was Acquia Drupal. So you can see it sets up Acquia Drupal, it configures it, and now it just gives me the basic stuff for configuring my site. I'm just going to say test, at msn.com, something like that. I don't have an Acquia subscription, so I'm just going to tab through this. I'm going to give myself a username, Al Maroney. I'm just going to give myself a password. I'll use this password for signing in and administering because I'm the administrator. Various other settings. I'm going to save and continue. It's going to give me an error right now because I'm not connected to an SMTP server, and it would usually send the details of the admin to the person that just signed up, but that's okay. I can still continue on to my new site. So now I'll say my new site, and this is my Acquia Drupal that's been set up for me, and it's using the theme, the Acquia theme here. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to go in and I'm going to take a look at some of the administrative features so that I can get up and running with Drupal. So the first thing is I'm going to take a look at the administration section. And we'll see here, like, it's a good place to start, is like the saying, they have this nag screen for a 30-day trial of the Acquia Drupal support. So what I can do is turn that off by looking at the modules. And it's a good idea to look at the modules because some great stuff that Drupal gives you through extensibility through modules. But first thing I want to do is I'm just going to turn these off. I have to turn this one off first. Scroll all the way to the bottom and save my configuration. And wait for that to complete. And now I'm just going to go back into my modules, and it will allow me to turn off the second one here, this Acquia agent. And again, I'm going to scroll all the way down to the bottom, and we see like there's a bunch of modules that came in this distribution that I can turn on and I can use as I like. We're going to be using the Lightbox 2 module, so I'm going to turn that one on. We'll demo that one in a moment, and then I'm going to save out my configuration. So now I have my Acquia set up, and you can see the nag screen has gone away because I disabled these modules. So I'm just going to create a simple page of content. I'm going to create a page here, and I'm going to give it a title that I say is my first. I did Joomla on here earlier on, so you can see the Joomla page, so my first Drupal page. And in here I can just type some simple HTML header for my page, and some body text for my page, like so. And I can save that out, and I can you can see this is what it's going to look like. So I'm just going to go into my administration menu and take a look at some of the content that's in here already. So we can see that the welcome page that they had created for me was there. I can just go in here and I can change this to say this is your first Drupal site, and come in here and just get rid of all of this and just say hello Drupal and save that out. And I always like to use a separate browser. So as you can see, I'm using Chrome here while I'm administering, but I also have an Internet Explorer open, so I can go in here and you can see this is what the site looks like with it. This is your first Drupal site. Hello Drupal, read more, stuff like that, which is the page that I've just edited. So earlier we mentioned there was a Lightbox module. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go back to my page itself. I'm going to go back to editing my page, and I'm going to see if I can add Lightbox to that. So let's come back here. I'm just going to go to the content list, and we can see this is my page, and I'm going to edit that page, and we're back in here to the page itself. So what the Lightbox does is that, if you're not familiar with it, it gives you a JavaScript implementation that provides a really nice show for your pictures. So the first thing I need to do is have some pictures. So I'm going to go back to Web Matrix, and in Web Matrix on my Drupal site, I'm just going to add a folder, and this folder I'm going to call Images. I'm going to add a few images to this that I've prepared earlier on. So I'm just going to say add existing file. I'm going to go to my desktop, and on my desktop I have a few images, these PNGs. Pick one, pick two, pick three, and I'm going to add them, and you can see they're now available in the images folder within Web Matrix. So now if I go back here to my page within Drupal, I can start, earlier on I enabled the Lightbox functionality, so what I can start doing is just adding some HTML to my page that will allow me to use the Lightbox itself. So here I've just added a simple anchor tag, and I'm going to say onClick equals Lightbox.trigger Lightbox. The module itself has installed all the Lightbox stuff for me, and I'm going to create a slideshow where it's going to do a slideshow of objects which have been tagged as my pics. And the way that you do this, the way that you tag them so that the Lightbox module in Drupal can recognize them, is like this. So again, you create an ahref for your picture, and you remember I called them pick 1, pick 2, and pick 3 earlier on. And you use the rel tag to say it's a light show, and it's called my pics. So you see I have my pics here, and then you can put a caption on the picture. So my first image, pick1.png, I call the baseball star. And I'm just going to do the same for the other two pictures. So if I'm going to paste the code in, save me from typing. And we can see here now I have 3 pictures that I call the baseball star, one for the sci-fi geeks and one for the science geeks. So if I go out and save this, and now go back to my browser where I was rendering the site and refresh it, now we can see I have my first Drupal site, Start Slideshow, and the 3 links. So I'm going to click Start Slideshow, and now I have this Lightbox slideshow actually running. And you can see this is a picture of my son about to hit a home run. This is one for the sci-fi geeks. If anybody is a fan of sci-fi, you might recognize some of the people in this picture. And this is one for the science geeks. And you can see it gave me this automatic slideshow where it was going through the 3 pictures and then it goes away. Alternatively, I can just get a Lightbox of the pictures themselves. So this was all done for me by the Drupal module, the Lightbox module that I added. Another thing that I would just like to give a quick look at are some of the themes within Drupal itself. So I can go in, if I want to change the look and feel of Drupal, I can do that by using themes. So let's take a look at that next. Now themes are available to me on the themes menu under site building. So if I come in here and if I click list, it will give me a list of the themes that are available to me. So I kind of like this blue marine one, so I'm going to enable the blue marine theme, and I'm going to make it my default, and I'm going to save the configuration. So now we can see my admin panel has been changed to the theme, and if I go back to my site, the one that I was using earlier on, and I refresh that, now we can see I'm actually using that theme, and my slideshow still continues to work even though I'm within that theme. Pretty cool, huh? Now here's where one of the things where Web Matrix can come in very handy is that the themes themselves can be edited. Now earlier you saw that I was using the blue marina theme. So if I go to Web Matrix and I look at my themes, now I have a blue marine theme here. Now pages within Web Matrix are built using a template. Pages within Drupal are built using a template, and the template here is page.tpl, tpl for template.php, because it's implemented in PHP. So if I open this one up, I can actually see the code for the template. So now I can start doing something a little interesting to that. And one of the things that I love to add to pages, and if you've seen any of my demos, you've probably seen this already, but one of the things I love to add to pages is Facebook integration. I want to show how easy it is to add Facebook integration to the page that I created earlier on. So the page template defines how the page is going to be laid out. So one of the things that I can do with that now is that every Drupal page is going to be written using this template. So if I want to integrate something like Facebook, I can use this template to add it to every page within my Drupal site, but only make the changes to one particular file. So to integrate Facebook, the first thing that you have to do is that you create an XML namespace within the HTML tag, and I'm going to use the FB namespace to refer to Facebook and use FBML. Now with my FBML, what I can do now is I can easily add things such as a like box, and the like box is a very, very powerful thing within Facebook. And I'm coming down here to the center part. This is my left menu, this is the center of the screen, this is my sidebar to the right, this is my footer. So the ideal place for me to actually add my Facebook integration, you know, for the page so that people can comment on my page, is actually within here, within the center part. So I have some code that I wrote earlier on that I'm just going to paste in. And I'm going to paste it right here. And what this is basically it's another table, and the table contains a cell which right now is 600 pixels wide, and this is going to contain FB comments. Remember, FB was the Facebook namespace that we defined at the top of the file. And then within that now I just place a script, and what the script does is it goes out to Facebook, it synchronizes with Facebook and initializes a Facebook like box that allow people to like this page, this specific page, and to create comments on this specific page, so that I don't need to create my own sign up for my Drupal site. I don't need to like administer users or anything like that. Users can come in, can like, and they end up sharing their site with others. It's very, very powerful, and as we'll see, it's very, very simple. So I'm just going to save that one out, and I'm going to run my site. I can work locally, and now here's my site. We can see the first Drupal site page, we can see my slideshow, and now I have a Facebook like box. I'm signed into Facebook, so I can say hello. I could share it if I like and post a comment on my Facebook profile, but the problem is right now it's running on localhost, so if people link to it, they're obviously going to get a broken error. But if I click post, now we can see my comment has been added and Facebook is managing it all for me. So as a result, we can see with Web Matrix we got up and running with a Drupal site very easily. We saw how to change a theme, we saw how to use a plugin, in this case the Lightbox plugin, we saw how to create a page and use the plugin actually on that page, or module rather than a plugin, sorry. And then we saw how you can actually use Web Matrix to go in and start editing the code so that you can do something so very powerful but very simple, such as Facebook integration. All that in about 15 minutes. Not bad, right? And that's what Web Matrix can do for you when using Drupal. Thank you very much.